Welcome everyone to today's webinar. It's our first episode in our Threshold series that we put together that primarily we thought would be a good idea. Typically we get a lot of questions in regards to properties, activation status, what kind of details aren't ready for their property, how to do little niches within Padmission. So we thought we would just kind of put it into a little group setting for kind of everyone to like learn, get together, ask questions. And so in today's first episode, we're going to pretty much go through Padmission, how to add a property, maintain your properties, keep an active status, know when you have your upcoming units ready, and just to know when to reach out with questions and the right avenues to do so. So my name is Nate. I'm a housing locator. With me also have Kevin. He's my colleague. On day-to-day, we do the same operation. We're reaching out to, I'd say, 20 to 40 landlords every single day, either new or existing, to just kind of touch base on their properties, answer questions, give financial incentive details. And we also have Nim. He's a Padmission specialist. He's kind of on the back end, cleaning up a lot of data, making sure we have the right fields in order, just kind of making sure we have a well kept process in place. So anyway, to get further ado on this, I'm going to share my screen. Cool. All right. So you guys should be able to view my screen here. And so when you log into Padmission as a property manager, you're first going to be under the drop-down menu of properties, and it's going to bring you down to the My Properties sub drop-down menu. So we're going to go in chronological order. So starting from search properties and then kind of going down. Oh, excuse me while I load that back up. Give me one moment. Sorry about that. From here, going back to search properties, this is where you're going to get an overall map view of pretty much all active properties, at least to start with on Padmission, pretty much in all of the different cities, with all the other geograph types. We have the city, the programs, the different bedrooms. On the right-hand side, you're going to see the different properties that have been recently updated, along with their photos, their availability, the different bedrooms that they have available, and the rent pricing. Also with the different program types that this is accepted. So one thing to note that's important too is that the participant also sees all of the different program types. They're matching this comparable to what their prerequisites are for searching. So that's kind of what shows up for both your end and the participant's end when they pull up this section of Padmission. From here, another good use that I would recommend is kind of just doing a quick price analysis. You can see what property managers are asking for. I mean, it should kind of give you a good idea if you're new to the program or if you just happen to have a couple questions. So just pulling up the map and then this side of town, kind of getting a little more in there. We see this apartment, they got 2-bedroom units running for, over a little 1,600 to about a little over 1,800 a month. So just based on their pricing, you could just touch base to see if, based on their utility allowance, if it's something that would be comparable to your property. Looks like the tenant's responsible for everything here. So you would know to either keep your pricing at this property or to negotiate it based on a rent that would get approved based on the payment standard, which again is by county and again based on bedroom size. So let's say you wanted to pull up, properties in El Mirage. The function kind of just shows you what's available, more options, kind of just age restriction properties, different zip code utilities for them. Going down to My Properties, this is where you would find any prospect properties or active properties you have currently in Padmission. And from this tab, there's a couple different ways that you can kind of start adding properties to your portfolio here. And that's either through selecting the add property, which is just right here, or by clicking the create property from the My Properties menu. And so from here, you can start by entering your property again by a couple different ways. If it is a business through Google Business, actually, if you have it listed, it will pull up the address. And for example, this one will give you one little photo of the outside of the property. All right, so that would be one good example. But if you wanted to enter it manually, we would just kind of go back here create property. And then by entering it manually, you would just kind of start entering the form fields. So the address will auto-populate with kind of where it is on the map. And we'll go over what happens if that doesn't kind of work out in a second, but just kind of going through the rest of the fields here. Kind of breaks down your city, state, zip. If it's a complex name, and let's say we wanted to call this Heatherbray Apartments, given that, let's just say they are apartments in this case, this is a home, but touch that. So it's an apartment complex. Let's make up some information for these. Let's say it's a 15-unit complex. Cool. And if you did have more of an elaborate description, you could add that, but just to kind of give a brief description, that's something you would add in that field. Another quick point to mention is the contact information. This doesn't necessarily have to be the same credentials that you have for your Padmission login access. This is going to be, let's say you have a property manager who's assigned to this complex and you wanted to have their information labeled here. I could go ahead and just label the property manager, what their phone number is going to be. Let's say their email address is good. And let's say I wanted to be attached on all of email correspondence that comes in, I would just add my email there. So going back to my point on the address, and if that doesn't show up based on the house address that you label, there are a couple different websites that you can try. Let's kind of, for simplicity's sake, we'll just go through the first one. And by entering the address here, by taking these two data points, latitude, longitude, excuse me. Should give you the property once you hit enter there. And so creating the property, see based on the coordinates that is populated now. So that's step one, is getting all the property information kind of uploaded. Then we have the photos for your property. The main distinguishment between the two fields here is we have a main image form field, and then we have the additional images that you'll upload. So kind of just touching base into some stock photos. I have here just a good main photo of a property, and we'll go ahead and click upload. That one looks good. And so with the manage additional photos, we do notice that when we do upload these, we want the property to go ahead and hover green when fully uploaded. And you'll see there upload complete. At that point, we'll submit the upload. Double check. Make those through. But again, just taking a look at the prerequisites for your photo, making sure you have the right file type. I've had some property managers call, email in, why aren't these photos showing up? And sometimes, usually what it is, it's just the file type that they have it under is just not acceptable for what we upload here. So that's why you would see that. Cool. So third step here is creating a new floor plan. We start by different bedroom sizes. You can add as many different floor plans as you have at your property, so feel free to get descriptive. And before we get into the nitty gritty, based on the different complex that you have, it's probably a good distinguishment to note that with the property being a condo or a condominium complex, we would recommend that you have the address labeled under this step or property information, having the unit number be on each individual property that you build out for each individual condo, if that makes sense. Whereas your apartment complex, we're going to want you to leave this unit number unavailable right here, so that when you go to floor plans, you're able to create as many different floor plans as you have for the complex. It just kind of keeps Padmission a little more tidy and clean. We've had a couple of data issues where the address will come up, 30 different units under 4 different properties under 2 different owners. So it just gets a little confusing. So that's how we would recommend you distinguishing between a condo and an apartment when putting into Padmission. But I digress. Adding some of the information. Let's say we have a 1-bedroom and a 2-bedroom floor plan. We got 4 units there. So it's 500 square feet. Because they're apartments, I'll go ahead and just keep the math simple and do 1.5 times just based on the threshold incentive that we offer. Oops, doing my math wrong, almost Friday. Floor plan, this is going to be a 1-bed. And let's say we also want to label that this is unrenovated. That's also probably going to be one of the better uses of this field, is determining if it's a floor plan. Let's say you have 2 different 2-bedrooms, one's unrenovated, one has a higher square footage, one has an additional amenity that the other doesn't. That's where labeling something in the additional information field is really going to help out with why you have it labeled the way you do. So we got 4 1-bedrooms. Then we also have some 2-bedrooms. Let's say they're 2 2s, and we have 7 units. And we got cheap rents, but that's okay. Cool. So from this page, we've created the 2 different floor plan types. You can see the name, the square feet, available units, the rents, the fees, and any additional information that we've entered. To make any adjustments to what we've already created, there's a little blue icon with a little pencil mark. From there, you'll see this indicating you are editing an existing new floor plan. That's going to take you back to what you've already created. Go ahead and make adjustments here. Saving this will, save your edits. Deleting a floor plan, hit X. Cool. Floor plan's been deleted. So moving to the next step, program types. This is another important step. It really ties into everyone's usage with Padmission. Again, not just the landlords, but the participants, the case managers. On a daily basis, they're filtering properties based on what types are accepted. So it's really important to narrow down which ones we have selected here, and making sure you have the knowledge base to know if you want to go ahead and accept these different program types. And if not, definitely go with both Kevin, myself. We'll point you in the right direction of kind of getting the right case manager or the housing specialist to kind of assist you with breaking down some of the different details and some of the programs. But nonetheless, let's just say that we do permanent supportive housing. We're also going to do rapid rehousing, and we will also work with HUD-VASH, and we'll also do SSVF as well. And so we'll save those program types. Lastly is our optional step. We do recommend that even though it does say optional, that you do fill out all of the required fields and all of the fields that it does recommend that you fill out. It really helps give some data quality to the properties. People find the right unit for themselves this way. It really helps give traction when there's more for them to look at. So at my complex, the landlord, we do not pay for all utilities. And so they're going to be responsible for their own natural gas and electric. So it does have this utility. This is not included in the rent. It's SRP. Again, and you would just kind of do the same thing for all your different utilities, marking this if it does have the utility, notating who pays and the provider. So again, it's no here for the gas. We're going to do Southwest Gas. And it is included in the rent. Again, this included. Try to find the most accurate utility provider you can for some of these. We do add some different fields, whenever we do have a new property in an area that doesn't have one listed. So just having that ready to provide to us so that way we can make it a field going forward really helps. So finishing up the utilities, it's all City of Phoenix, all included. Cool, so utility saved, pet policy. And so the pet policy is definitely going to be important for you just because the participant is responsible for covering their own pet fees and pet rents. So this could be the make or break if a participant is going to want to move forward with your unit. So saving yourself a headache there could really be nice. So let's say they are allowed and you have a monthly pet rent. Let's say it's $50 a month. You don't do any refundable deposits, but you do a non-refundable $200. And let's say you only want 2 pets and they have to be neutered, but you don't really have any breed restrictions. So that adds up. We'll go ahead and save that information. That's now in there. Accessibility, it's your apartment complex. Let's say you do, and you would just want to go ahead and list any accessibility description that you might have for that, just depending on your property. But always hitting that save icon when you finish adding any details. Amenities, all the units have, the below mentioned checked. So pretty cool complex. So saving that. Go to documents. Now I want to touch up on the documents tab for a second. We do recommend, again, just for the full scope of Padmission's usage, participants are looking at this on the daily, looking for different applications, trying to get the ball rolling on a unit that they can apply to. So we do recommend that you that you upload both an application and your tenant selection criteria whenever possible. Just so your property type, it makes it clear for whoever needs to apply, that way we're sending you the right type of tenant for your property. It kind of saves you headache, and that way you don't call in with questions as to why things aren't getting rented when you don't even have an application ready to upload. So it's just kind of key information that helps keep the process going. So anyway, we're going to upload that application. These do have to be approved on the back end. So when you do approve them, you're going to notice the status is unreviewed. You can either reach out to Kevin or myself. We can always do this internally, get it approved within like less than 2 minutes. So again, with the selection criteria, I think we might have to just refresh the page. Give me 1 second. Go back to my work here. Cool. Now we'll try uploading this again. Thought I lost my work for a second. Cool. So both of the status unreviewed, so you know that that's good to go when you do accept the property. Shoot us a quick text, give us a quick email, we'll get that activated. But that's the last of the build out section. So you'll notice above each of the 5 section headers, there should be a green indicator with the arrow that you've completed what's necessary. We're going to go ahead and activate property. So one quick thing to note, though, that you will notice as you complete the property is this property completion tab. As you follow the instructions listed, it's going to give you closer to that 100% completion. If you are a new partner and you've not contacted anyone prior to getting in Padmission with the login credentials, it's going to stop you right at 93%, and it's going to say property manager approved, and it's going to be missing this green mark here. As long as you just give us a call in, usually you're registered as soon as you log in. So either way, we should be crossing paths pretty soon. And as soon as we approve you in the system, just for Maricopa County purposes and our notations and getting you logged into the CRM, you're then approved, your property is 100% and it's fully active and ready to go. So in this case, our property is viewable in Padmission now. See, we have our property contact, Joe Smith. Both emails are attached. Photos are uploaded. We got our utility breakdown. We deleted the 1 bedrooms for the example, but we also have those 2 bedrooms that are still available at the complex. Our pet information that's listed, our accessibility features, our floor plan information, facilities and amenities, the documentation that will be approved, and then where it sits on the map, just to kind of give you an idea. So that's properties. That's going to be a bulk of where you do a lot of your interactions, finding tenants. Usually when you have when you have correspondence and it's, typically you'll get some email documentation. I'm not sure if you'll see at the bottom of your page or not, but there's pretty much an inquiry section that shows who's reached out to your property. With just a label of what program they're at, what housing specialist, what their name, first and last is, with their contact info. I know it definitely gets emailed to the landlords, but that would show up for you to have a log of, who to reach out for your leads on that. So that's going to be the breakdown. Essentially, a couple different other features that, you can reach out that, we get questions with on the daily that might just kind of give you some peace of mind. I mean, your change password option is going to be there. Enter your current password, as long as your new one, confirm it, that'll get sent to you. And housing locator. So if you're having any issues, any questions, this is where, if you didn't have our contact info on hand, this is where you would go to send us something. Let's say you want to know what a price is worth at this address, and, help me price my unit. At this address. And so when you put that in, we would get that on the back end that just shows, your contact information, your phone number for us to reach out and kind of help you out with this property. So that's going to be pretty much your day-to-day activities in Padmission. That's what you would kind of run into. I'm not sure if anyone had any questions at this time, but essentially that's a lot of what I have to break down today. So I appreciate it, and thank you all very much.
Well, hello, everyone. My name is Kevin Francis. I'm actually a housing locator with the Threshold program, as well as Nate. The main reason why we wanted to do this is to give you all a sense of comfort. So don't hesitate to call us or give us a call if you need any assistance with actually uploading pictures, or if you stumble across a roadblock to where you're stuck and you don't know what to do. Don't hesitate to give us a call. We're here to actually help you and also give you guys some confidence when you're actually in the Padmission system or whatnot. So I just wanted to throw that out there. We're here to help you all and also to bridge that gap. So feel free to give us a call.
Ever in need of the contact information, you can go to the thresholdaz.com/contact us, and all of the information is there. There's also a form you can fill out to get information. If that hotline number is 24/7, somebody always has that phone in their pocket and are ready to answer at any time. You can also send a text message if that may be easier for you, and someone will get back to you quickly. Definitely give us a call. That's what we're here for, is to be of support to you and make sure that this is a beneficial program for you as well. Awesome. Thank you, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you all for your time.
there's any particular questions or anything you want to go over, we are here for it.
Okay, yeah, I thank you for helping me get logged in. I am a landlord, a small, I only own one property, a duplex that I bought with a good friend of mine about a year ago, and we were actually listed it on Padmission and then ended up just renting it through the private market. But both of our tenants are now leaving, so I'm really interested in what's the current. I know what things were going on a year ago, but if there's anything new and what's the current programs. And I remember there being a lot. There was one for veterans, there was one for single women, there were several different. They all kind of went through Home Inc. and Padmission. I don't know if that's the same as it was a year ago.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, you're wondering about the actual housing programs themselves? Cool. So there are different programs depending on the needs of people. We assess everybody who comes into the homeless system, and then we determine what their needs are. If they need really long-term support, that's going to be permanent supportive housing. Those are people that we've committed to paying rental assistance for them indefinitely. And then people who will just need to quickly get off the streets and stabilize in their homes. Maybe they need help with employment or connecting to community resources or getting their kids in school. That's going to be rapid rehousing. And that usually ends up being about a 9-month program. And then we have the equivalent for both of those for veterans. So the rapid rehousing is called SSVF. And you get to select in Padmission which programs you want to accept. And so we also have a few other choices in there because we have some smaller programs too. We have a Section 8 type thing, housing choice vouchers. And then we also have TBRA, which is more like rapid rehousing, tenant-based rental assistance. And that's what the different cities throughout the county are doing. So Glendale has its own, we just want to help people real quick get off the streets. But all of them qualify for, I don't know which side, threshold, which is, we launched about a year ago. So I don't know if this was around when you were participating, but it's a centralized engagement and landlord support service. And so we do incentives on the front end if you're a new landlord, or if you're, there's some other criteria. And then we have a 24-hour hotline to support you throughout the program. And then when somebody moves out, we have damage claims and vacancy loss protection up to 4 times the monthly rent. So all of those programs qualify for threshold, except for the housing choice vouchers. And that's just a very, very small program. I think we have 6,000 tenants in our programs, and the mainstream program is 200, I think. So, but all the explanations of the incentives and of the programs are on our website under FAQs.
Oh, I see Nim on there. Nim, I got emails from.
We can also build it out with you and then not put it as available, and then set a reminder for ourselves to reach out to you, or just to check it to see, if you need help updating the availability.
Right. I'd like to start looking at prospective tenants because I really want this to work and want to make sure I have time to, find, the right match.
So are we able to list it, post it as available and then put a note in there that it's available the first? That way people can start applying now?
I would like that. Yeah.
Perfect. Nim, is it possible you can share your screen so we can follow along with what you're doing?
Okay, give me one quick second. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and add the property. Sure. Okay, so let's go ahead. Open this out. And you did say it was unit number 2, correct?
So far, so good.
All right, so we got the contact info, of course, the unit number, the address, total amount of units there. Always remember as you're entering this, for every step, hit save property, just to make sure that, all these changes are being saved as you go along.
Okay, good to know.
And then you want to click on move to next step. This is where you would put photos. If you have photos of the property, you would go ahead and put them up here. So whatever the main image would be is going to be the image that participants are going to see first and foremost when they review the property. So you want it to be a really, good image of the outside of the property, just a nice shot, you know what I mean, of the property
Right.
as the main image. And then
Okay.
once you would select that image and it populates again, just as an example.
I'd actually like to know what fair market rent is right now because I have a feeling it's different than it was a year and a half ago.
Sure. So we do have like cap amounts that we can't, that, are the max that we can spend, but it
Mhm.
always comes down to rent and reasonableness, which is
Right.
the process, So it depends on what the comps are in the area. One way, something that we've found to be very useful is Rentometer or rentometer.com gives a pretty good set of guidelines for what fair rent is for that
Hey.
year based on the area. I found that to be pretty accurate, actually.
Oh,
So,
put that on my phone right now. Thank you.
Yeah, so Rentometer, and they have you could do it 5 free things or whatever. So
Oh, awesome.
otherwise, I can look it up right now and put it in the chat as well.
Okay. I guess my one final question is, again, do you guys have a graphic that was kind of like an incentive to convince landlords about your program? She's on board, but I think I'm a little more excited. So I don't know if there's a fun, nifty graphic I can show her to be like, look how great.
So if you just go to thresholdaz.com and scroll down, there's an animated video, audio to it, and some good graphics that kind of describe how the program works.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Definitely reach out if there's anything we could do, okay?
Okay, thanks so much. I have all the information I need. Thank you so much. I really
Awesome.
appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome to Threshold. We help property owners and managers across Maricopa County make money and help end homelessness. You've probably seen the impact of the homelessness crisis in our community, and you may have wondered how you can help while still operating a profitable property. Threshold makes that possible. We make it easier for you to rent to those transitioning from homelessness. Threshold gives you an entire network of support that helps keep your properties profitable and well-maintained. First, we give you a sign-on bonus every time a new tenant signs a lease. And Threshold hustles, so you receive your rent in full and on time every month. Threshold has a private ILS that connects your vacancies to potential tenants, so you have an easier time finding them. We have a 24-hour hotline hosted by a dedicated owner support team, so you have help whenever you need it. And Threshold helps to protect against damage or vacancy losses. Are you in? Here's how to get started. Talk to someone at Threshold. List a unit on Padmission, our internet-based listing service. Start earning more while helping get all of our neighbors off the street and into homes. It's that simple. Threshold gives you a good ROI, answers the phone throughout the tenancy, and makes you whole if things go sideways. Join Threshold today.